It's Gug time, everybody! It's Gather Up Gotchard. We're talking about Kamen Rider Gotchard, episode 36. You know how this goes. Talk about the episode, talk about themes, talk about what I liked. And then we'll talk about comments. But first thing, it's a first. The episode starts up with Kyoka going like, alright, so I have a theory on how we can make Latchus human. Laughter. That's a very human thing, right? I mean, trying to tap into human emotions, and everyone's like, all right, cool, yeah, that makes sense. And Latchus is just like, all right, let's go with this. So they set up a comedy review. Ringe does a silly face, and everybody laughs except Latchus. Rine and Sabimaru do a very well choreographed comedy routine. Everybody laughs except Latchus. Hopper starts tickling Hotaro, and he starts laughing, and everybody starts giggling along with him. And Latchus basically goes like, "This feels, this feels hollow to try and make me laugh like a person." And she starts mockingly laughing at them, and they're just like, "Does that count? I don't think so." Meanwhile, Minato and Spanner are heading to the leaders of the Alchemist Society, going like, hey, Gigist is out there. He's doing shit. We need to deal with him. And they're like, yes, but he is an unknown variable, and we do not know how to react to that. So we will do nothing. And Spanner is immediately like, you dumb sons of bitches, fuck you. And it's just hilarious. It's great. Because Gigist shows up and goes like, yo, you know what? It's a good thing you fear me. And everyone's just like, oh shit, okay. And hey, kudos to this one of the members of the Alchemist Elders transmutes a sword, goes on the attack, and the guy goes like, oh come on, I froze. The guy gets basically commends. Wait, hold on. We're not there yet. I'll get to that in a second. But basically, he shows up and goes like, hey, what's up? I'm powerful. As Hotaro and the crew go over an alchemist fairy tale of like, oh, there was this one spice that could make anybody happy. And they're like, oh man, it'd be really cool if we had that and we could give it to Loxus and maybe she could connect to some kind of emotion. They're like, yeah, it'd be cool. And Hotaro goes like, all right, I need to go get some groceries and do all that kind of stuff. Right? And then one of the elders, like, transmutes a sword, attacks Gigist. And Gigist is like, yo, you know what? You actually had some balls. So let me just give you what I, like, know is your innermost desire. And he disintegrates. And Spanner and Minato are like, yo, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, he just wanted power. And I gave him like super, like unlimited power, but his puny human form couldn't handle it. So, sucks to be him. And that's when Spanner just starts attacking, and Gigist is like, "Oh, so you're gonna job to me this episode to show how powerful I am? Cool, cool." And Gigist just decimates him. Pure power of alchemy, destroying Spanner. But Spanner unleashes his fucking Chinibyo flames, and he's like, oh, that's useful. I'll keep that in mind. Minato and Spanner piece the fuck out before anything could really happen. And Clotho shows up and goes like, hey, what's up, my dude? And he's like, yeah, all right, we got other things to do. Arturo's getting groceries, runs into this timeline's Time Lord, and he starts freaking out because Gigist is like, all right, my dude, sup, Hotaro? You have a thing that's mine, and I'm gonna take it. And Hotaro's like, what the fuck are you going on about? I have no idea. Gigist reaches into Hotaro, tries to grab it, but it rejects him, and he's like, whoa, 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 you're my power. How dare you reject me? Right? And that's when he drops the bombshell of like, hey, I made the first Kimmies. And I kind of designed them to be like cold, nihilistic, emotionless beings made only for weapons of war. And Otaro's immediately like, no, they're beings that like care about things. It's like, oh, right. Okay, so here's the thing. That's corrupted. That's not what they really want. That's not what they actually want, right? You know? So he takes Skibo and basically, in his mind, getting it back to zero, but I think it's a more, our understanding of it is eliminating its memories and what it's developed as a being back to square one, which, if you are a creation like this, might be anger and survival. Hotaro henshins, they tries to fight it off as best he can, and he's just trying to get it to understand, till eventually he has to go full to platinum to beat it, and he destroys it, and like he does the whole finisher, and he holds up the card waiting for Skibo to get into it, and he doesn't show up, and it's like, what? And as the smoke clears, he sees the body of Skibo devoid of color, as Hotaro realizes that he just killed one of his friends in a fight, and it's heartbreaking for him. Like we've been saying for this whole show, empathy is the name of the game. It's just moving in different directions, and I think that's very interesting. Gigist claims empathy. He claims to understand others. He claims to understand that one member of the Alchemist Society. He claims to understand the Chemies. But what his empathy is truly just nihilism. It's saying, oh, I know what you want. You just want anger and destruction. You just want power. And like, that's all it is, you know? Right? It's just claiming to understand, and it's projecting onto others. It is a lack of understanding being masqueraded as understanding, you know? It's like a narcissist who says that they're a great listener, but it's really just a way to listen to get their point in, right? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And Hotaro, like we've been saying this whole time, is like true, honest to God empathy. Like, he listens to the other person. He tries to figure out where that other person is in their comfort level, in their life, in their understanding of self, and then tries to understand them at that point to help them as best he can, right? Like, he doesn't push Spanner to be like, oh, big friend, buddy, but he does go like, hey, Spanner, I'm here to help. I want to help, and I don't want to get in your way. And Spanner, like, respects that give and take, right? Same thing with Legend. Same thing with all the Chemies. Same thing with Rine and Ringe and Sabimaru, right? Hotaro tries to help them. And getting this kind of like as a really nice parallel is just really good theming for what seems to be reaching into endgame territory. But yeah, no, this was a pretty dang good episode. I loved a lot of the transitions, like the clock element. I love when that lottery motif was established while Hotaro's shopping, and then when Gigist shows up, we just center on the lottery wheel. That looked really cool. I love all the location swaps. It was very clear, green screen, all that kind of stuff, but it looked really good. Specifically the one where there's one with Spanner where he grabs his sword thing and it transitions to another world, location. That's really good. Just a lot of good stuff there. Everybody's giving it their all in acting. The guy who's playing Hotaro is like, he has improved leaps and bounds from the beginning of the season, and that's really commendable. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting plot developments that are happening. You know what's also an interesting development? My social media. Links in the description. You can follow me in a variety of places. You can also go follow me on Patreon. There is a free tier, and I try to put out some content there. And there, for as low as $1 a month, you get an exclusive video a week. I've been talking about Kamen Rider Agito. You also get podcasts and other such material, commentary tracks on older videos, and the whatnot. But before we head out, we have one last thing to do. We have to talk about some comments. First up from Slime Beast. Yeah, the legend crossover bit, last couple, the arc we just went through, seemed like could have just easily been a little side diversion, but it did round back and really kind of explore the themes of the show a little bit more. And hey, Gigist did machinate some, you know, so it wasn't all for naught. I think it was a good arc. Yeah. Next up from Fish Pop. Yeah, we're nearing the end, and it seems very likely that Hotaro is going to be getting his final form soon. Because, yeah, we are reaching endgame of the show. There's been a leak about it, and I really like the suit. We won't talk about the suit extensively until it is directly shown in the episode. So, we'll just hold off on that. That's neat information about the clock that showed up, just being a model reuse, 3D model reuse from 01 show. But I don't think the implication of last episode's, like, looking at Daybreak was like, oh, Daybreak's the one that saved Legends world. I'm pretty sure that was Decade. I think the specials, the web specials, said that was Decade. I think Decade did it. But next up, from just some random guy. Yeah, all throughout this show, Hotaro has shown a lot of just emotional maturity, of just, like you mentioned, knowing where to actually place blame for problems. Of like, hey, Kage is trying to take all the blame for himself. And he's like, no, the villain did that shit. It's not you, it's them. Right? And it's kind of like how Forze wanted to help people, but like, with Forze, it was like yelling at the top of the lung, everything will be alright. Where Hotaro is very much more about like listening and understanding and trying to like meet them where they need to be, not trying to pull them into where you are. Like, he doesn't say, but like, he's not saying like the other person's concerns aren't worth worrying about. He tries to validate them, and he tries to help solve them that the way they need to solve them. You know what I mean? It's very nice. It's very cool to see like an emotionally mature character like that. And finally, from Esconde. Yeah, it's, again, like we've been saying, the show's all about empathy and understanding each other. So it's just really nice and refreshing to have a group of characters who like talk their issues out and try to come to an understanding with each other instead of just being mad at each other, you know, and being kind and compassionate and like trying to meet people like you mentioned, Hotaro going like, hey, by the way, I didn't cook everything, I only made the cake, because he understands that the way he cooks things isn't necessarily to everyone's taste, and like, he accepts that about himself. His friends accept that about him. They don't make fun of him or badmouth it in any way. It's just different, right? And like how that like improves a character and how they like try to improve as people, because like Kaguya grows as a character in these few episodes. He becomes a better, more well-rounded person, but he's still the same guy. He's still braggadocious. He's still kind of like nose up in the air kind of dude, because they don't want him to be completely different. They don't want to get rid of all of his personality traits. As friends, they just want him to be the best that he can be, right? And it like, thinking about like his power set, it totally makes sense why he was closed off and standoffish in that way. Because in his world, he's the only one, and he has the ability to clone himself, meaning he has had an army for himself, and he hasn't had to work with other people. But like, he learns to understand that working with other people is valuable, is worth it. And now he's also himself concerned about Hotaro because he sees the possible dark future with Daybreak. And before he might have just brushed it off, but now he's like genuinely concerned, and that's really cool to see in a character, because that's what you want to see in people, is people care and try to understand each other, just like I care about you. And I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope you guys are getting a lot of good sleep, because making this video, I won't. Little fun fact, Gotchard didn't drop until Tuesday, and I make these videos to go out on Wednesday. And I'm frozen again. Let's just wrap up the video. Please press the subscribe button. press the like button, hit the bell to get notified whenever a new video comes out. I hope you have a good day. Till next time, I am Boingo Rider, and I am frozen today. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, Esconde and Scott Firestein.